Yes, yes. Okay, in a way, it's like a loaded question because if I feel like I want to get into some of my views on wedding culture and weddings and whatever. But I don't know, that might have to be a topic for a podcast or another video. I think I'll save it. But I will say it was fine with me that we didn't have a wedding. As far as I can remember, I've never been the kind of girl who dreamed of her wedding day. I dreamed of being married, having a family, but I didn't really dream about like a wedding day. I don't love being the center of attention. I honestly don't. I am like more extroverted than introverted, but there is a difference between being like a friendly, sociable person and being like the center of attention. And that's probably why, even though I'm more extroverted and sociable, if I have to do something like sing in front of people or display my talents, I'm actually not very excited about that or whatever. Like that's actually like where my extroversion stops. Yeah, so I don't particularly fancy being like the center of attention at a wedding, kissing in front of everybody and having to do dances in front of everybody and whatever the rituals are that people do or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I also think that it didn't make a lot of sense for us to have a wedding. I don't know, like, do we want to talk about this? Like, should I talk a little bit about it now or okay? Husband says talk a little bit about it now. So we didn't have a wedding because it just didn't make sense. Like we were across the world. Both of our families were like way far away, right? Because we were in China. And at the time, honestly speaking, we were having a few issues at our church. But even that aside, I would say, like, I just felt like, what am I going to spend the energy for, like, planning a wedding to celebrate with people who are not like my people? That's no offense to anybody at the church we attended at the time. We still are friends with so many people from there. And we loved our experience at that church, actually, in spite of, one or two things that didn't go well. But, you want to celebrate with the people who care about you the most, right? Your family, your parents, your siblings, your closest friends, and the people who have known you for years. And none of those people would have been able to make it to the wedding. So it just didn't make sense to have a wedding. And that is why I just didn't feel it was worth it. Weddings, from what I observed of others, were like such a stress to put together and whatever. It's like, what am I going to put all this effort in for? So we rather just celebrated extremely modestly. And I do think marriage should be celebrated. Let me make that clear. I think there's biblical precedence for that. And it's one of the most important decisions you'll make in your whole life. So it deserves to be celebrated. He that finds a wife finds a good thing. Marriage is a good thing. Marriage is honorable before God, right? Celebrate. But yeah, I just that's it. If I start talking more, I'm gonna start getting into my ideologies, which, stay tuned for a podcast that I don't know when it's gonna ever come out, but eventually it'll come out and we will talk about this because I do think it's worth talking about, but in a different setting.